y'all. It's Raina Rochelle, and here is a new episode of Becoming Her. Yes. So today we're on part two of Pruned, Not Punished. And if you remember last week, this episode was going a little bit further than we expected because we were talking about how I went through really bad rejection and but how you can actually transform yourself because it actually showed me more and I learned more from that rejection than I ever thought I would. It actually showed me that there was a part of myself that I still need healing from, that I needed to continue to work on, which is what I'm doing right now. And it's not fun. Trust me, y'all, it's not fun. Um, this week, I continued on my road of rejection and I pushed myself to do the uncomfortable things. I invited those same exact people that did not show up to my event last time, and they gave me a million excuses, and I invited them again. Why did I invite them again? It was because, like I said before, I've always been so afraid of rejection. I really always um, ran from it, and this time I wanted it to be my choice. I wanted them to reject me. And I felt like I had more to learn from it. Instead of being scared of being rejected, I had to look for rejection so that I could take the lesson I needed from that and not take it so personally, not let it weigh on me, move on from it and move on from them. So I got everything I needed to know from that moment. I'm not hurt as much as I thought I was. It was expected. Not saying you ever want to expect negativity. No, we spoke about this last week about how sometimes being rejected really just reveals the things that maybe you might have not been able to see if you weren't. And I felt like I definitely was able to receive a lot of things that I might have not been able to receive just a little bit quicker. All right, so let's get in today's episode. That is a little recap of this week, and I'm excited to tell you all the great things. Sorry, I'm like looking at two places, looking at myself, and then looking at I'm trying to remember to look at the camera. But let's get into this week's combos because they're very interesting combos. So, first thing we kind of touched on lightly last week is that becoming her, when you're becoming a new elevated version of yourself, you can't run away from uncomfortability. Uncomfortability is what takes you to the next level. Doing the things that people are not comfortable doing is what sets you apart and makes you exceptional. So, all those things that maybe you might feel like hurt or might feel uncomfortable right now, we spoke about that last time. We should be chasing those until they no longer are uncomfortable for you. Because right behind those uncomfortable states is probably that moment or that thing that you need in order to get you to a better place. So that's what I'm working on. I already explained to you what mine was. Mine was rejection. I'm working on that. For 2026, I made myself a whole entire rejection list. If y'all didn't hear about the rejection list, it's actually really cool. I want you to look it up. I think there was somebody, I don't know if it was a girl or a guy, but they spoke about it. And it was basically how they wanted to get rejected from 1,000 things in 1 year. And in that pursuit of getting rejected for 1,000 things, they were actually able to get accepted from things that they never thought they would get accepted from, and actually had the most successful year that they've ever had because they went after things that they never would have. Clock that, clock it. So I'm going to be getting my rejection list in order for 2026. And baby, I'm about to get rejected. Rejected dad. Something wrong with me. Yes, but I'm actually really excited for it. I've never been that excited to get rejected, but I don't know. Yesterday was my birthday. I got hella rejected, but I also got so much love. And I think it's because I was so much more vulnerable in 2025 that made me, yes, I was open for rejection. It was like rejection hit me like a ton of bricks, but I also was open to the most love I've ever felt, ever. It's crazy. I've never felt that kind of love before. And I never knew that many people felt so serious and loving towards me. So I'm grateful. But like I was saying, you need to go through uncomfortability. Uncomfortability is actually a requirement to becoming her. I think part of becoming her is realizing that uncomfortability is not only a sign that you're doing something, is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's usually a sign that you're doing something right. Because this kind of uncomfortability required me to be seen, it required vulnerability, it required risking rejection, which we already talked about. I went through rejection with the pickleball, with a whole bunch of things. And I think God said, you're not running from this anymore. It's time to get in the field, lock in. And I am not running away from rejection as much anymore. I have grown so much just in the past few months than I have in my whole lifetime. And I'm so grateful to God for that. So when God hands you what you love, sometimes when God hands you what you love, it comes with fear, right? And sometimes fear is what can keep you from it. So, what's wild about my situation was this was something I was actually in love with, something that I cared about, something that I enjoyed, the pickleball event. And as much as I loved it, I was going to refrain from doing it due to the fear of rejection, which is not, it's not fair to me. It's not fair to people that maybe want to make me happy by doing it with me. So it was just me having to get out of my head and going for it. But sometimes the things we love the most are the things we're most afraid to pursue because they expose us. And baby, was I exposed. I think if I didn't care as much about pickleball, if they didn't show up, I would have been like, you know what, it is what it is. But because I cared about it, it hurt a lot more. They bring up old wounds, old insecurities, old narratives that we thought we outgrew. And I think that's why I avoided it until I couldn't. Because my sister came in and she said, nah, we about to do this. And we sure did. Sometimes you can run from things until you can't, and that's when growth happens. So I'm really grateful, so immensely grateful for my sister because she made me unlock a part of myself that I don't think I would have ever grown from if I didn't put myself in that, if she didn't help me put myself in that situation. And I see myself growing so much more now from that situation, being able to really do the hard work to work on myself so things like that does not bother me, so it doesn't stop the show. So I'm so immensely grateful for that. I'm grateful for like being able to now take in those moments, move on from those moments, and just keep it moving, Stephen. Keep it moving. It can't stop the show. We still got stuff to do. So I'm very grateful for that hurt, that pain that I might have went through for a little bit, you know. But I'm also extremely grateful for being able to see those that loved me in that moment. So we have to learn how to refrain rejection, which is what we were speaking about before, because as we know, rejection can mean so many things. It could be protection, it could be redirection, it could be just simple feedback, which we talked about. So you have to learn how to reframe your mind. Like, for example, for me, yesterday being my birthday, there was certain people that did not say happy birthday. Can you believe them? Monitoring spirits, because they were definitely on my story. And I had to sit with myself and say, what do I want to do with this information? Because that is feedback, you know, that's feedback. Some people, they used to be really close friends. We just simply grew apart, but I just didn't know that we grew apart to the point where I'm saying happy birthday to you. I'm celebrating all your wins, and then you just watching mine. Interesting. But I never would have gotten that feedback if I didn't like see that. You know what I mean? So that's simply just feedback for me. So I had to sit with myself and be like, okay, what do I do with this information? Do I want to unfollow them? Do I want to mute them? Where do I place them in my space of living and what I want to do? Do I still want them to be able to see me win? Or do I want them to, you know, not see me at all? Do they serve a purpose in my life? That's feedback that I could work with now that I wouldn't have had before. So sometimes you need to be able to just take what it is and see what you can do with it. And you always have to also, this is very important, you can't shrink to stay comfortable, especially when you're trying to become a different version. You running away from things that scare you, you trying to not be pruned is only gonna leave you in a place where you're shrinking, you're still shrunken and you haven't grown properly because you haven't had to deal with the sun. You haven't had to deal with the heat. You haven't allowed yourself to get nourished by the water. Not every time growing is just water, water, water. Oh, that feels so good. No, sometimes it's hot, it's scorching. Sometimes you're going through seasons. Sometimes you got to go through some pain. And you knowing that this hurts and trying not to go through that because it doesn't feel great is not going to help you. You got to run towards it and say, you know what? What's up? I heard you was looking for me. Just kidding. Okay. Most importantly, that bounce back, baby. That bounce back is your best friend. If it hurts you, okay, let it hurt for a little bit, but bounce back. Don't let it, don't just stay there. Don't just stay down. Get up. It's not about you falling down, it's about you getting up. People fall down. Everybody falls down. Even Oprah, Barack Obama, all the leaders, every big pimpin', every big person, they have fallen, but they got up. It's about how you get back up. And not only how you get back up, how fast you get back up. Because you don't got time to just be laying there looking all willy-nilly sad in the face. Baby, you got stuff to do. You got places that you're trying to go. Okay? So no, we understand you fell down. It's about the bounce back. How are you bouncing back? How quick is it going to take for you to bounce back? How bad do you want it? Where are you trying to go? Because a lot of people, where they fail at is they fall and they just lay there thinking that, that's going to help them. And it really doesn't. It doesn't help you in any way to lay there. You got to get back up. You got to do what you came here to do. Because if you don't care, nobody else cares more than you care, baby. Nobody else sees the vision the way you see the vision. And if you don't see the vision yet, you at least feel the vision. All of us have a feeling. We know what we're trying, who we really want to be. The feeling is there, whether you can get rid of it or not. Most of the time you can't. So it's about the bounce back. You're going to get up. You're going to do fine. You're going to show those people, yeah, I fell down. But so did Oprah. So did, so did Jesus. 3 days and 3 nights, baby. It's not about falling. It's about how you get back up. All right. Okay, that's the end of this episode. It's just part 2. Okay, if you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and see that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. I actually think y'all will see me later this week because I really wanted to make sure to add another episode in for this week because last week I kind of got delayed and I really felt really bad about that. So we're going to add another episode into this. And with that being said, bye.